Welcome to the new series, Just Get It Done, where we just paint things to Battlefield tabletop worthy. Now, I'm no means a 5-star painter, but I can paint to a decent degree where at least it will look good from 5 feet, and I hope these videos will help everyone else in their mission to slay the Grey. And now that our crab droid is all built, we're going to give it a spray paint with lead belcher. Make sure you get underneath it as well. Much easier to do when there's no base on it as well. And there you have it, all spray painted up and ready to go. We're going to grab some Screaming Bell now. And we're just going to make sure we're painting the crab droid's legs, and we're going to do the little anchor points in between the joints. And make sure we get on top as well, and each other leg as well. Pretty simple paint scheme. Underneath there's a little rim. You don't want to get underneath the entire crab, but there's a little rim that goes underneath the top of the whole point. And now you can see that the joint and the leg is done. We left that little gap there with silver underneath as well. It'll help to contrast it once we get some noon oil on there in another step. You see me pointing out now that the face plate and some of the hole points on the gun itself are being painted in Screaming Bell as well. And just making sure that you get perfectly underneath each of those rivets on the crab droid. You can see I fumbled it a bit and broke one of its antenna. We'll come back to this in a later step, but we're not going to glue it back on. We're going to add that into the model. So the next step is going to bath the whole thing in noon oil. And when I mean bath it, you're really going to bath it. If you had just a pot, you would just stick it in there with a pair of clamps and then bring it out and let it dry. The brass really likes a heavy wash, and so does the silver for the next highlighting step. And there you have it, one very heavily washed crab droid. Good thing to note is that it needs to be completely dry before the next step, because we are going to be dry brushing Stormhost Silver on all the metal parts, and by that I mean all the silver bits. So it's just a dry brush of a lighter silver over all the metal. For all intents and purposes, the brass is now completely done. It's a very simple color scheme that lets you smash out the crab droids very easily. Alright, and now our dry brushing is done. You can see it's a bit splotchy, which is fine. Like I said, we're not going for an absolutely perfect model. We just want to get this thing painted and not grey anymore. And now we're going to do the gun parts, which would be the glowing laser cannons. And for that we're going to use Macragge Blue. Very deep blue, and this will help contrast with the next colour, which we'll use to highlight it, which will be a lighter blue. And there you have it, a very dark blue, just on the iony parts or the lasery parts of it. And now we're going to use Temple Guard Blue, and we're going to use that to highlight just the blue, just to let it have a little bit of glow and catch the eye. And you can see now that it's much more attractive than it was before, and very stark contrast with the brass colour. And we're going to move on to the rest of the highlighting that needs to be done on this model, and we're just going to start with the eyes. We're going to use Evil Sunz Scarlet, and we're just going to do the two little eyes in between its faceplate where that V is. And there we are, and don't do what I did and be confused and paint the other top eyeballs, because the next step is going to paint those things green. So actually pay attention to which eyes you're painting. The green really helps give a little bit more attention to the model, especially with the palette of colours that we're using. So now that that's all done, we're going to go back to the eyes, the red eyes in particular, and we're going to put Wild Rider Red as a little slit on the eyes. Now you could go with a yellow here as well to make it really look like an eyeball, but we're going to use yellow later on for this broken antenna, and I don't want to get it confused with all the other colours on there. Alright, if we didn't fumble it earlier and break the antenna, this would be the crab droid done. However, since I did, we're going to cut a line into it across its shell here to make it look like it's been with a lightsaber or a blaster bolt of some kind. And there you are, that's the cut that we've put in, following just behind the broken antenna. And we're going to use these colours to draw the line of the damage. Alright, and then you can see him on the left there with that line across him. So we're going to move on to the base. We're going to use Martian Iron Crust. Now it's really important you let this dry for a long time. You can see how wet it is when it goes on, but it will crinkle and crack and give it that real geonosious feel or a desert vibe. And here we are, we're done. So now we're going to dry brush Elder Flesh across it. And that's what it looks like when it's done with the Elder Flesh. The last step is going to be Reaser Rust Dry Brush on top of that as well. Now you just want to make it really sporadic, and now we're giving it that really orangey feel to the desert as well. And the last step involved here is just to paint the rim with Abaddon Black. And once this is done, our crab droid is complete. And there he is, all done and assembled and painted and no longer grey. And that's the most important thing, just to get rid of all these grey minis off your table, just get the job done. And here are my 3 that I've done, and you'll see each has a bit of personality. I've printed out some baby crab droids to stick under them, one broken and one not, and you can see our crab droid we painted on the far left there. So an important thing to note is you can actually snip the leg that's raised, so you can have all 4 down on the ground like the middle one is there. And with that, we're completely done. I hope you found this video of painting just really easy to follow and just be able to get some paint on some minis. I'd also like to quickly mention Bryant from Phoenix Games Australia. He's one of our local stockists for Star Wars Legion, and he's also one of our local TOs. He does a lot of unboxing videos and building videos on his channel, which I'll put in the link below. And as always guys, remember, experience outranks everything.